Hey everyone, my name's Shawn. That's my friend Chris Ford, aka the Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter, and I swear he's over there looking at dirty pictures as we
No,
roll
I'm
in
looking at
to
I'm
our
looking at this
avatar.
cover.
Oh, you know what? It does look like, well,
Well, no,
use
there's
your
a certain
imagination.
part in like I don't know the middle that just reminds me of like fallopian tubes. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that's fair. I saw a meme the other day that was like a bad idea to have your fourth graders paint pictures of flame, and they showed like the wall of the kids' pictures, and they all looked real female genital. It was that I'm sure that art teacher like I'd like to think it was an accident. Let's put it that way. Anyway, Chris, welcome to Avatar: The Last Podcasters. How you doing? How was your? I know it's been a couple weeks. How was your Christmas? Your New Year's? I know we don't really get ourselves stuff, but like, do your kids have any exciting gift stories or?
mm, no, not really.
Do you go crazy on the Santa stuff with
It's,
your kids, or you keep it pretty mellow? I saw you threaten to throw all your kids' presents in a closet and open the door.
yeah. I wish it's. I hate the concept of that. I don't want to say because my kids might be listening. They're having a sleepover somewhere,
Oh, I got you.
and but I hate I hate that concept a lot. But my wife is like, no,
The
let's do
Santa
it.
part
And
specifically is the part you hate.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh, me too.
yeah. I love giving gifts and shopping for them and stuff like that. Love that.
Yeah.
But like, especially as I love Christmas, I'll say that. And I've never in my life did I ever believe in Red Man. Um,
Oh, listen, you had me at method, but not at Redman.
yeah. Um, and so like I just never did that, but I always appreciated when my parents gave me stuff. Like having saying like, "Oh, thank you for this." It's a bonding experience between kids and their parents and stuff like that. That I don't get because I'm like, here you go. Well, I'm not like here. I'm like, oh, look what's under the tree. And
Yeah,
then like sometimes I see my kids like love something, love a gift. And usually when I get my gift for birthday, like, oh, thank you, Daddy, and they give me a hug and stuff. Like, miss, I miss that. I'm like, there's a moment here that's missing from this moment, and it's because we, for some reason, want to believe that a fat guy in a suit is going down chimney trees for some reason instead of, and also as hated somewhat as a Christian because I'm like, why are we putting so much emphasis on this? And also when I'm older, I gotta tell them, well, no, this aspect of this is really fake, and that's what you gotta really believe in. And but I believe it, and I hope you
I
believe it. Here's why I believe it. But here's the aspect that's like really dumb. Don't that stuff's crap.
I do not care for it in most respects. I think it would have more impact given presents from your parents. I think
Yeah,
the Christian side, Chris, I go to Christmas Mass with my wife and her family, and Santa Claus came to Christmas Mass. You think kids are paying attention to like what anything other than the fact that Santa Claus is at Mass? That's weird, right there. That's messed up. And then also it's like just the idea, not like the mythos of Santa Claus so much as that, like, you know what? Hey, poor kids, Santa doesn't give them as much presents. That is always a
yeah,
concept.
yeah.
I've never gotten over that. But Heather and I have mutually decided that we're just not going to talk about it until we have a kid that gets to an age where we like have to. And I'll be like, well, yeah, it's not real. We're just gonna like let you hear whatever you like. What, I don't know, what, maybe 4 years old.
The thing is, the thing is, I have like deep conversations with my daughter about different things, whether it's about her growing up, having confidence in herself, social things, race, stuff like that. Like, like we'll just talk for a while sometimes about like conversations about anxiety, nervousness, stuff like that. But they're like, oh, hey, December 25th
Magic
is
fat guy.
Magic Red Fat Guy.
I don't even like
Uh,
just the red. Like, if you ever see, like, pre Coca Cola blue Santa Claus, he's a much more attractive Santa Claus in like a normal, like, handsome blue garment instead of a just a gaudy, bright red piece of crap. Everything
Yeah.
about it's your fault, Coca-Cola. You've done this. That's why I drink Dr. Pepper.
Uh,
Coca-Cola gave us bad Santa Claus. Dr. Pepper gave us the college football playoff. Which one would you rather have?
but regardless of all that,
That's my
I had a
spiel.
good Christmas. My kids had a good Christmas. Gift wise, my wife gave me like a Lego Batman puzzle for the Batman build, which I will eventually do, and I like that gift, even though I haven't even opened the box for the last Lego thing she bought me. I am gonna do it, and I do like the gift. I am more right now into the action figure repainting and customizing stuff like that. But it's really hard buying a gift. I feel like for your wife because like we are as especially my wife, like my money is her money. Like we like that's how it is. And if there's something that I actually wanted, I would just buy it. I would have already bought it myself.
Or just like give the excuse to like, hey, it is Christmas time, but you still just go get what you want and just go a little bigger
Yeah,
because it's Christmas.
yeah.
Uh, Chris, the whole reason I wanted to talk about this is because I feel like I kind of won at Christmas this year because I got my wife a cruise. I don't
Okay.
like large bodies of water. I'm scared of the ocean. Fun fact about me, not from
Mm,
ocean sickness, just like a weird. What's the opposite of like claustrophobia? If that's a thing that exists, that's what I have.
um,
Um,
okay.
and so, but she wants like she's always kind of wanted to go on a cruise. So I was like, all right, she's gonna go with her friends. I didn't have to like do any, like she planned it. Like it's mostly her money, if we're being honest. Like our money, we share money. She just makes a lot more of it than I do. It's like she did all the planning. She found the friends, she found the cruise, everything. And but like
Nice.
my Christmas gift to her was just like not even saying like you can because we don't do that in here either because I'm not a stupid husband. I'm just like you should for Christmas you should go on a cruise.
Yeah.
That was my gift to my wife, and she loves it. She's so excited. But anyway, during that week, I'm gonna try to figure. I forget which week it is. I was gonna see if I come over to your house and spend like one of the evenings there watching a movie, or movies multiple. Just because we haven't done that since
Mm.
did we
Since we
since we
rewatched
watched
Avatar.
the yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Pick something else, something adjacent at that time. But that's like end of January. Uh,
Oh, you could play. You could play this VR, the Quest
and
that
so
I
we can
have.
play VR ping pong because that sounds awesome. Um,
It's weird, Sean. It's like, and sometimes the ball falls on the floor near my feet, and I know I because your brain says, "Oh, the ball's right there," so you get a little sensation on your foot. It's weird.
we are
But anyway,
so
it
in
feels.
tune to believing like our eyes are our primary source of information intake.
Uh,
Like
and also
60% of it.
the like the ball hits like if you hit the ball right here, you hear it in your right ear more than your left ear. And so when it hits the ground, you hear it hit the ground. And like when you hit it, it vibrates the stick just a little bit, so you get that feeling that you hit the ball. And then you can put spin on the ball and everything. Like it feels just like one layer removed from being real life. It's weird. It's the most realistic thing on VR. Everything else, I'm like, oh, I'm playing a video game. It's fun and stuff. But that's like, no, I'm
That's
playing
like the
ping pong.
perfect. That's the perfect use for it. Like the way that the handle is in your hand, like the type of feedback
Yeah,
it can give you.
yeah.
I was like when I saw your Facebook post, like I was in Micro Center. I went and stood in front of one in Micro Center for like probably a solid 20 minutes. Like should I? Shouldn't I? Shopping on sale for deals. I didn't do it, but anyway, yeah. If there's a good night, and I'll figure out what dates those are. Uh, watch movies and ping pong and such. And I don't know if you have the football game, but if you don't, I'm gonna buy it for
I
you
do.
because I want to play the football game pretty bad. What is it, Madden
I
something?
didn't get. I don't think I got the football game that you were referencing because they came out with a new one. Oh, I don't know. Lamar Jackson is on the front cover of it. I have that one.
I
That was
just
pretty
want
fun.
the sensation of like a very responsive throwing motion is really all I want it for,
Yeah.
right? Like
This
that's the fun part.
this one is probably a. If I had to guess, they made that game. And that game seems like the premier Madden game of Quest, too, or Quest, whatever. So it's probably more has more functions, the bells and whistles. than that one. But that one's fun too.
I don't,
But I'm
I
right now.
don't,
I'm just
yeah, I don't know how many
addicted
bells
to
and whistles I need. I want that sensation of like feeling like I'm throwing a football
yeah.
in a way better
Was
spiral
there
than I can do in
any?
real life.
Was there any? Oh, so like when you threw it, do you feel the spiral that you threw it with?
It had just the slightest hint of vibration feedback, but since your hand is like this, that's the part where like the illusion breaks because your hand is still holding onto the handle. But
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
it was so well tuned responsive to like when you're releasing the trigger like that, and it just had a slight vibrate that made it feel like, yeah, like you're really spinning off your fingers, or like every arm angle and everything. It was so, it felt accurately responsive.
Was the
um
defense coming after you in the game?
yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
But
yeah, just
it
kidding.
was
Okay.
completely unbranded everything, and its graphics were bad, and that was like, that was at least a year ago now, so I'm sure there's other options. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll send you those dates later, and we'll turn it into some kind of streaming thing if the dates work out, because I won the husband game by making my wife plan her own vacation for Christmas,
Nice.
spend her money.
I would have surprised my wife with the car. That was my. I did not do that
That would be
because
awesome though.
that it would have been. But I'm like, no, she used to test drive the car
No, my wife would
and stuff.
stab me, and I think, yeah. And everybody knows that my wife is physically stronger than I am. Like, she would actually beat me up, I think, if she didn't get to
My
help
wife would not.
pick. Like, she wouldn't want to take part in helping choose or anything? Or just test
No, she
driving at
would.
least?
And no, and she told me she's like, oh, I want a Kia like Telluride, or well, now she told me something else. Now I think would actually be better. Now I should be jealous if she
Those
got me something
Tellurides
better.
are super comfortable. I sat in the back seat of one all the way from here to to Oklahoma City for like the college women's World Series. I was in the back, Chris. Super
Oh, the
comfy.
backpack, huh?
The back, because there's six of us grown
Yeah.
humans, and it was very comfortable.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, will attest. Telluride, very comfy. Don't know anything
Yeah, and
else
I have a
about it.
Sorrento, which is pretty good. It also has a third row. Probably not, the back row isn't as comfortable. It's fine, but like your feet are just like a little bit up.
Realistically, the people in the back should be the smallest humans,
Yes, yes.
so that's probably fine. 99% of the time.
Yeah. Anyway, how long have we been talking? About 18
Man,
minutes?
we've been
No,
talking about
probably just
Christmas
well.
for 13 minutes, and you know what? That's probably enough Christmas. Oh, you know what,
Okay.
Chris? I was gonna throw one more plug. I don't know what I'm gonna do all the way yet, but I'm gonna have another fundraiser. I've got a lot of raffle prizes, and originally I was gonna do like a Nintendo Olympics thing, but then I just didn't get on the horse for like planning that part as much, so I might just have a straight raffle. So if we start publicizing some prize raffle stuff, all of that money that we are gonna get from the raffle, there's a small barbecue grill, KU basketball tickets,
Ooh.
a pretty sick backpack cooler thing. I'm missing like a kind of major one. Decent prizes, and all that money is going to go to the Dave Thomas Foundation, which helps the adoption process for children
Oh,
who need
nice.
adopted, because that's pertinent and relevant to our life. So, and that'll
Dave Thomas
be
isn't the Wendy's person, is
part. Yeah, it's the Wendy's Foundation.
he? Okay,
Yep,
okay. Yeah, like I thought, I
they
thought
used
that name
to.
was familiar.
Yeah, they used to publicize that aspect in like their commercials and stuff, but these days they're just like way more about like trash talking on Twitter than they are. But the foundation is still alive, and it's a very highly. I'm very particular about my foundations because I don't like wasted money. But it's an extremely highly rated and highly regarded foundation.
Good.
So
That
that'll
stuff is very
happen.
needed. It just seems like it's very costly to go through that
It is,
process and stuff. So
and it. My understanding is it works in a number of different. It doesn't have like a singular thing it does, but that the money tends to go to several different places and ways that they help
mhm.
children get adopted. I'll provide more details as I do more research, but we did choose that, and that'll happen. The raffle drawing will be like the Saturday after the Super Bowl. I forget what day that
Okay.
is. It's pretty
Very
close to
nice.
Valentine's Day. So if I'll abuse our fanship here and publicize that a little bit at some point.
Yes.
All right, now I've talked enough about Christmas and New Year's things. Chris, what do you
All
got for
right.
us?
Reviewing Legend of Korra: Patterns in Time. couple things I want to get out of the way. So what I'm going to do in this review, Shawn, is that I'm going to go through and anyway, this book is an anthology book. It has several different stories across Korra's time frame from pretty much any time that from when she was a kid to when she current time. Um, and I'm going to rank all the stories in it from worst to best. That's how I'm going to do this, and give you maybe a little snippet of the stories.
I'm not going to be able to contribute at all, but I will say that the first thing that like, just the only thing that I had to contribute, I love the cover art. That's incredible. It's beautiful.
Yes,
It's
it.
super attractive. I love it.
Yeah, that's my first thing I want to say is that this cover is absolutely gorgeous. Honestly, so I like this book. I feel like this book doesn't do this cover justice.
It's amazing. The only even of everything on the front cover, the only even minor thing that I would have done is make Asami's glove like a slightly less fleshy color because it just looks like she kind of has giant man hands until you
Mm,
realize that she's wearing a glove.
okay.
But no, that's a minor complaint. This
Yeah.
is one of the like I want to just go grab this book and look through the
Yeah.
pictures in it.
Oh well, this is just this is just the cover. There's different artists. In fact, I don't think this artist does any type of separate book.
I
But
know,
it
but
seems like each
he would have had me sold in the store. I was gonna buy it anyways. I was there.
thing is, there are some artists who are solely cover artists. I don't know if this artist is
That's kind
solely
of
a cover
wild.
artist, but some of them are solely cover artists. Cover art by Sachin Ting,
Hmm.
Sachin Ting. But yeah, this also. So I think this cover is like too good for the book, and also I think the title is a really good, really cool title. Like Patterns in Time. That sounds really interesting.
I don't.
But
I didn't know anything about it until what you just described now. I didn't expect it to be an anthology of any type. I thought you were about to like. I thought it was just going to be another inline story.
yeah,
So
I wish it was.
the title is nicely a nice fit for an anthology.
I think it is because I just think Patterns in Time. I think it's a really cool title. It could be used for a much like cooler, grander story. And I get why it's called Patterns in Time is a good title for an anthology series about stories that takes place across time. I don't know, I just really like the title. Anyway, okay. So the worst, start with the worst story, and that is called Lost Pets. And this one has to do with like Milo looking for lost animal pets after like they've been like displaced in the battle for Republic City with Kuvira. And that's like also he like I don't know teams up with the hobo I guess. That seems, but that is like essentially the story. But also some of these stories are we've seen in like free comic book day versions that've come out on at least I want to say four of these have been our free comic book day stories I've already read like I within the last like 4 years. But this was a good place for them just to put those stories. So that one was my least favorite. You got anything after that? Brother? Any questions?
I mean, makes me think of some Avatar episodes that I don't care for so much.
Yeah.
There's a parallel there.
This second one is really this. So it's the second to last. Wait, how many of these are there? Let me count that so I should start saying numbers. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Eight stories in here. Number seven. Because we like numbers. Number seven is really short. It's 2 pages. And this one's called Wisdom. This one is pretty much just a poem by Guru Lahima. So it's really interesting just to see. In fact, I can read it to you. I will. It is said that a young airbender once undertook a pilgrimage to a mountain overlooking the northern air temple. This shows this young airbender girl. I say girl, she looks like she's probably about. Why can't I figure this out? That's,
It's the weather forecasting thing. You don't know which way to point and move.
yeah, I know, right? That way? Oh, yeah, that way. There we go. Okay. So she looks, I don't know, probably about 16 or so. And so it shows her, it says, to seek the wisdom and poetry of the guru who lived on the peak. But what is wisdom? Asked the guru. Is it poems written on a page? Is it actions done in my name? Is it words spoken on the wind? Wisdom is formless, for only the wind remains when all else is gone. So it is written in the poems of Lahima. That's it. That's the whole story there.
I mean, it's a cute enough little anecdote.
Yeah.
That's
And it
about
does
all I
show,
can give that.
so this, so the Airbender girl like finds Guru Lahima, and as he's saying this, there's a really cool panel where his feet just starts levitating off the ground, and then he flies off.
Just the origin that we needed from Guru Lahima.
Yeah. I know. I like the part of like, is it actions done in my name? Like, few hundreds of years later, the heroes rolling around, spreading the word of Guru Lahima, killing people, taking over stuff. Anyway, number 6, skyscrapers. This one is about Asami when she's a little girl, and and her mom is in this one. Like her mom, they show her mom being like a real like genius. She's like pretty much responsible for the infrastructure in Republic City. She's going over the blueprints for like a skyscraper, and it's just Asami and her mom having like a nice time. You get a little bit more input on how Asami was raised, why she's into like these things. And you get to see her mom, which is nice. And like we've only seen like a picture of her mom before. And like Asami helps her mom uh, kind of build and work on the architecture, work on the blueprints for Republic City.
That's kind of sick. A little Republic City origins.
Yeah,
Something we
like
haven't gotten a ton of.
after the Lost Pets one, I really like all of these. So that says a lot.
That was just like listen, there's a bad episode in everyone.
Yeah. Number 5, Friends for Life, and this is the one. This is probably one I'm most familiar with. Like I remember reading. This is the one that's came out in a free comic book day, probably like 6 years ago. My daughter's 10. Because I remember reading this to my daughter. I still have the comic book. It's all raggedy that I would read to her. But it's a really nice little quick story of how Korra met Naga. Like Korra was like out in the middle of like a winter storm because she wanted to play, and then she meets Naga, who's just a little pup, and it's just a really cute little story.
Remind me, I won't I don't want to interject with it now, but I have a story about a ratty book to share at some point before we're done.
A ratty book?
About a ratty book. Not
Oh,
about
no, go
rats.
ahead. That's
Rats
pretty
isn't a
much.
portion. No. I'll wait till you're done here.
Oh, and then after a while, like Korra like tries to keep her and like Naga survive the night in the winter storm, and from that point they were inseparable. And Korra asks if she can keep her, even though like polar bear dogs are like vicious animals, and like Korra's like, "Can I keep her?" And her parents are like, no, pretty much. And then Katara comes in and says, all avatars have animal guides, and perhaps Korra has discovered hers. And it says it might be, and Naga might just be what a high energy girl like Korra needs. So that's how they met. All right, you gonna come up with your ratty book
Uh,
story like at the end?
yeah, I was gonna wait till the end.
Oh, ending. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I just didn't want to interrupt your flow.
Number. Oh, okay, cool. You have anything to comment on that cute little story?
Sounds like a good story.
Yeah, it is a good story. Like I said, I don't know, I might be a little biased because I do remember reading this to my daughter, especially when she was like really, really into Legend of Korra. She's still into it. Like we watched Beginnings today. I was just like, oh, I feel like watching Beginnings, Legend of Korra Beginnings. And she was like, oh, can we watch it? Oh yeah, sure. Like Beginnings is such a great episode, Shawn. I hate you for not loving it. But it's okay. And I was like, you know what Shawn said about this episode? He said it was overrated. She
Listen,
was like, well, he's wrong.
I'll stand up on my own. This one, that's fine.
All right. In at number 4, Weaver's Ball. So Weaver's Ball takes place. Korra is like, she looks like she's about, I don't know, maybe 14 or so. She's already mastered. Yeah, she looks about as old as Katara in the series. So she's probably about 14 in this book. She's already mastered waterbending. She's already mastered earthbending, and now she's mastering firebending. And her firebending teacher is like same one you see in the episode 1 of Legend of Korra. He's like pretty stubborn, pretty stick by the rules. And but Korra's like, hey, like, yeah, I really want to training and stuff, but the Spirit Festival is coming up. Like, can we? And it's like it's the which this is the sad part here. Um, Korra says it's one of the few times of the year that I get to leave the training grounds. There are games and food and everything. And like he wouldn't let her go. Like that one little sentence, I feel like encapsulates so much of Korra. Like you guys have like tried to force this little girl into being the avatar that you took her childhood away in a certain sense. Like she didn't get to like grow up and have friends. And that's why she is the way she is. Like if she's been trained her whole life to be the avatar to beat people up and stuff like that and protect people, yeah, she's gonna feel a certain way when like that gets threatened, or she's gonna be a little bit uh eager, a little bit uh rambunctious, stuff like that.
I I liked. I think that's the right type of story and character tie-in for a nice anthology too. That's what I look for in this type of story context.
Yeah. And she does like after a while she like sneaks away to go to the festival and and she gets to the point where someone's like uh she tells someone she's the avatar. And they're like, you're not the avatar. She's like, I can prove it. And then she fire bends and she water bends and fire bends, and then she has feeling burns down something. And
Happens to the
then
best of us.
yeah. And then her dad has to save her. Well, it's not like a save her. Her dad just has to put out the fire. It's not like a huge fire. But
He's a waterbender. He can
uh,
handle it.
yeah.
Is there a
And
safer
then
place in the
they
world to start a fire than
true,
you know?
true, yeah. And then her dad, but then she has to go back to the compound. But her dad brings like the little fair game to her and the friends. Well, I wouldn't say friends because I don't think Cora really has friends. But the kids, and they all play this game called Weaver Ball. And she just has a little chance to be a kid. But all right, number 3 is Cat Owl's Cradle. The story is about Boomy and Milo. So in the story, Milo's just trying to spend time with his dad, and but his dad's like busy doing Air Nation official stuff, and like Boomy kind of consoles Milo about it. He's like, "Hey, I get what you're saying. Like my dad was always really busy, with Avatar stuff, and it's really just a great story. I think you really get to see things in both these kids, both their perspectives of being the child of a person who's like has so much responsibilities and weight on them. And you kind of see probably how he was a kid, like the feelings or maybe the resentment he had for his dad, and how he feels now being an adult, being more understanding of that.
Uh, that's probably not the type of the stories of the ones you mentioned that would register with me as very enjoyable, but I get it.
Yeah. Oh, then there's like a sad part. Like Milo is like he says, maybe I'm just not good enough. He lets Janora help him all the time. keep thinking that maybe when I get my arrows, and then Boomy stops him. It's like, Milo, earning your arrows couldn't possibly make Tenzin love you more. You're good enough exactly as you are. Like, I feel like kids and everyone really internalizes things and makes assumptions that often aren't true, but it's kind of based off of like how you feel and your emotions. But it's good to have a person there to combat those things. Say like, no, this is the actual reality of
Yeah, like, so that sounds a little too emotional for my taste, but
it. Boomy does gonna say, here's the thing about dads like ours. They may be frustrating. They may not always have infinite time for us, but everything they do is to keep us safe. And Milo says, I know, but sometimes I don't want to be kept safe. I just want dad to be proud of me. Like this is like a little bit more deeper, a little bit deeper stuff. So
yeah.
stuff that like that I like. All right, number two is Clearing the Air. It's a Tenzin story. This was also part of Free Comic Day previously. In this one, Tenzin is telling a story to his kids um, about how when he was like a teenager, these local hooligans like burned up some airbending gates and vandalized Air Temple Island. He chased them down and like fought them and airbending. And it's really interesting to see Tenzin as an angry teenager. Like he looked angry. Like it looked like he wanted to like beat the crap out of them. And part of that is because he had so much weight on him. He's like they destroyed these like ancient gates that are like part of the culture that I have to uphold and stuff. And like Aang in a way, like so then like Tenzin gets like arrested along with those kids. And then there's a nice back and forth between Toph and Aang, because Toph is the chief of police and Aang is well he's Aang, he's the Avatar. So that was a cool little thing there. Uh
I
and
think
Aang
that's the
is like,
one of the few Free Comic Book Day ones I've read.
oh, okay.
Like it either
Uh
that or we've talked about it in detail before. Either one's a
maybe.
possibility.
And then uh Tenzin gets let go because it's like his first offense. And then Toph says like she's gonna take the other ones to jail. And Aang says like, oh, because they happened on Airtemple Island, please let me take them. And then Aang talks about how when in air nomad culture, when one person wrongs the other person, like it's all about like kind of settling it and figuring out the best resolution, the best peaceful resolution. Uh, so Tenzin kind of works with those hooligans to like clean up stuff, things like that. I really enjoyed seeing Tenzin in a different role, and you kind of get a sense of why he became the way he is. Oh, it's kind of nice seeing aggressive, angry teenage emo Tenzin.
Rebel Tenzin.
Yeah. All right. The last one, as in the first one, as in my favorite one, is called A Change in the Wind. And this story is about Janora dealing with her insecurities. And, I like stuff like that, very character driven stuff. Um, there's like some spirits, and they're kind of like dark, they're not dark spirits, but they're kind of out of control. And Asami and Korra's there, they're being all like a cute couple and stuff with it. But Janora's also there, and they need to like guide these spirits back to the spirit world. And Janora's having issues with it. Janora's also said like she hasn't been able to like meditate into the spirit world, and but she hasn't told anyone about these issues she's having. And the reason why she hasn't told anyone is because she feels like she has so much pressure to like live up to all the expectations, responsibilities she has. Um, like just so much weight is on her, even though she's like, a teenage girl. It's just really one thing I really love about this story is that like when you're a teenager, you deal with so many insecurities and things like that. That having these conversations with these older people like Asami and Korra to like really put stuff into perspective, really seemed to help out Janora. And I feel like as a teenager, I look back on like the insecurities I had. I'm like, man, if I just didn't worry about that, I could have been doing this and that and this. Um, so I just really enjoy seeing that.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things that I probably don't like thinking about, but might be good for me to think about. If you know, good to reflect on those things. But like, yeah, it's weird. High school's weird. I'm gonna leave it at that. That's another one. I don't think I've read that one, but I think we've talked about that one before in our conversations about Janora.
I don't know. I think this was new. I don't think I've ever read
Oh,
this
that
one
was new.
before.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's got me engaged. It is. It is appealing at its base.
Yeah. Oh, and then the other part I like about it. So Janora says, just like, and now I can't even connect with the spirit world. That's always been such a big part of me. Who am I without it? Like you think about, like oftentimes in life, we think there are certain aspects of our character that is our whole self. And when that thing is removed, we have an identity crisis. But it's important to note that like you could lose this thing about you, but still be you. There are other things about you that are very important. Or, you grow new things about you. You're always changing. Like we hope that those things don't change that are very positive, strong things about you. But if they do, you can find a way around it. And eventually Janora does find her way. She's able to like reconnect with spirits and things like that. And then of course, like, hey, I get it. Like when I lost my connection, my past lives, I didn't feel like the Avatar at all. So it's just I think there's a lot of great metaphors in this story.
That one hits me right in the feels. Um, that's another weird high school thing is thinking back and having it feel like one thing was your whole identity.
Yeah. I didn't really, I didn't have any identity issues in high school. I feel like my insecurities were like, nope, never mind, take that back. Because like I remember my friend group in my neighborhood. Like I was like, in a way, I was their leader. I was like the one they always went to, the best one in basketball. And I remember as I was like 15 or something, like they all started getting much talk. Like we were like trying to like touch rim or grab the rim. And, like I couldn't grab. Like everyone else was getting so much better, had like so much higher hops than me. Like I just couldn't like keep up with it. And like after a while, I just didn't even want to play basketball with it. I'm just like, all right, I'm just not as good at this anymore. I think that was still. I just knew that they would be like, oh hey, like try to grab rim. I'm like, well, I can't. Like I was somewhat embarrassed by that I couldn't grab the rim. Um, but like stupid stuff
That
like
was
that, like
before
kept
Steph
me.
Curry taught us that basketball could be more.
That's true. And I wasn't even great at shooting threes then. Like I changed my form up since pretty much when I started playing.
We
I think like college. I realized like, oh, shooting like this is not best way.
guys, we guys like us needed the Steph Curry revolution. I just wanted everybody to like me very bad, which in a small school isn't the worst thing, and like knew everybody anyway. But that was like my whole thing.
Mm.
'Cause, man, a small school, you all have to do like literally everything together. So this,
The thing is, in a big school, you get lost. Like I don't know. Like I hate it. Looking back, I hated my freshman year because I was just like I didn't have. There were certain parts where I didn't have a lot of friends, like certain classes. Also because I took classes with upperclassmen because I took like more so advanced classes because I was smart enough to do it. I did it, and I don't know it's hard to like be friends with people who are a year or 2 years older than you.
I
Uh,
I I
Not a
did.
lot of my classes. I'm not that super smart.
I didn't like freshman year because I was like in too many things because my brothers are all athletes. It's like I was in basketball and track and football, and like I'm horrible.
What
You
did you
think I'm
do in track? Were you a cross country runner?
Long distance. I hated it. That was
Yeah,
my
long
least
distance.
favorite.
I
But
think
Chris, the sad thing is, I wasn't bad at it either. I had never done it before,
uh,
but I have a natural like
endurance.
tolerance for that stuff, I guess. So actually,
Okay.
I ran a 5 minute, 10-second mile one time, which these days is like nothing. But at the time, I was proud of myself. But I was in too many things just because it's like what my brothers did. But then it was my sophomore and junior year. I was like, I don't have to do those things. I started doing like forensics and school play and the other nerdy stuff. So yeah, I didn't really like my freshman year either, but it was my own fault. Nobody
See, I
told
didn't
me
do
you didn't have
anything.
to do sports.
I I'm the complete opposite. I wish I had done more things. My parents didn't like make me do anything. They were just like, "Hey, you want to do this?" And my like shy self of like, "Oh no, I don't want to do it." Like, what if I fail? Things like that. But I remember like I didn't try out for the basketball team in middle school because I was like too afraid to try out, even though that's like the easiest thing to try out for.
Especially in middle
And like,
school, like if you got a good grasp
yeah.
of the concepts.
Yeah, which I did. I played basketball all the time.
I just my brothers all did, and my dad liked it, and it's like, oh, I guess I go to high
Yeah.
school, play these sports. And then it's like my sophomore year, I remember having the talk in the car. I was like, Dad, I don't really like playing football as much as I like watching football because I'm kind of a huge pansy. Do you care if I do Scholars Bowl? And he's like, what's Scholars Bowl?
Like I wish I'd done. Wish I played an instrument or like done debate or or even done like plays. That would be. I would probably really enjoy doing
I
like plays.
I had a lot of fun in plays, and then forensics is kind of like plays. Scholars Bowl I just did because it's what my best friends did, and I still liked it well enough. We didn't have, I think I told the story. We didn't have a lot of class choices. So my freshman year, I had an open hour where there was literally only one thing that like applied to me in that time. So I had to be in band. And I told the band teachers like, listen, I don't know how to play any instruments. What do you got for me? And so I played the triangle and the crash
I
cymbals.
was gonna say the triangle.
Yeah, the triangle was like I mean, various percussion instruments, but like in marching band, I did the crash cymbals, and in the
You couldn't
regular
have
band, I
played
did the triangle.
in my high school. You couldn't have played a crash cymbal, Shawn. You gotta have like rhythm. Like they're all like.
Our marching band was
What?
okay, and I had a senior teach me to do some of those things, but it was pretty muted. It wasn't
Okay.
very exciting.
Uh,
But listen, the triangle, I've got okay rhythm. I play the piano. I'm not a dance rhythm guy, though. That's my problem with what you're saying there. But I have decent
yeah.
musical background. I just didn't want. I couldn't play the piano well enough to do it in band or even like pep band. But um, yeah, listen, high school kids out there, try things, but then don't keep doing them
Yes.
if you don't like them. That's the moral of the story. Don't.
Try a good balance of things.
What's the right thing to take away? Don't have too many self don't so, not doubts so much as like worry, so much anxiety about like what other people think or about whether or not you'll be good at it. If you want to try it, just go try it. That's the takeaway.
Ooh, Shawn, apparently there's going to be a trading card game of Avatar coming up.
I heard the tabletop game reviews. Is that out officially, or did somebody? I saw a review. It could have been like a pre-release thing, and they described it as a little uneven, which it's very hard
Hmm.
to design a balanced tabletop RPG.
I
But they
you know what?
described it as a little uneven, but very like enjoyable, and they liked the canon that was involved.
I'm going to try and learn how to do this trading card. It's pre-orders available until January 27th.
I played
Yeah, it's
Yu-Gi-Oh
going to be
in person last week, Chris. In
really.
person with I have two other friends that play Magic, and they both still have Yu-Gi-Oh decks. I crushed them, Chris. Crushed them.
Well,
One of them had a
I cannot
meta.
keep up. I can't keep up with Yu-Gi-Oh anymore.
No, well, sorry, we didn't use link rules. Like I don't know how to. I have never learned that, and they didn't
Hmm.
either. But one of them had a meta deck, but it was like a purchased meta. Like at one point he
Okay.
went and bought. It
Yeah.
was called True Dracos, I think. and he literally like must have bought it off the shelf. The other one just like had an assortment of his favorite cards, and so that was a lot of fun. It was a terrible deck, but it was a lot more fun to beat that guy. They asked me if my deck was meta. I was like, my deck ain't meta. No name dropping in my card text.
I think I was about to bring up something else. Anyway, I don't think I have anything else. That's the Batters in Time.
Oh, I gotta tell you my ratty book story real quick. Chris,
Oh, yes.
in 5th grade, I was in a bus wreck, which I think I've talked about before. It was like pretty bad. It was like 50 kids on a bus, and a few of them were like very badly hurt. So it's a big deal. But at the time, I was reading the Goblet of Fire, the 4th Harry Potter book. It was like December 7th, so it hadn't been out that long. I was doing good too. I was like halfway through the book. Anyway, the book got like pretty messed up, but still physically fine. Like not pages falling out or anything like that. No shredding, just dinged up really bad. So I just kept it as like a little memoir. I remember reading that book on the bus. But when me and Heather were redoing my room, she's like, Shawn, we see copies of Harry Potter like all the time in like the other 6 books, because she didn't know that, but like the other 6 books are like all pristine, like we've read them like twice, and then that's it. Now we have audiobooks. She's like, why you got this one stupid ugly one? Why can't we get rid of it? I was like, oh, that was the bus wreck book. Which felt really bad. But that made me think of the comic as like, that's a weird way to describe a book as like loved. As like, yeah, loved as in it rolled over a few times in a vehicle. Probably hit some kids in the head on the way. Yeah, that's all there is to it. Chris, thanks for reading Patterns in Time. Next week, I think we are going to try to redo our Kyoshi's Parents. What if Kyoshi's Parents left her episode? Unless something else exciting happens in between now and then. So if you liked that episode...
We should do a review of Avatar: The Way of Water. No, I'm kidding. I have very little desire to see it.
I didn't like the first Avatar. Why would I? I don't think...
Well, like, I liked the first Avatar enough, but like this one is like 3 hours long.
I don't
have time for this.
I don't like that style of movie, the space sci-fi stuff.
I feel like I should go... It's about to make $2 billion, weirdly enough.
I mean, everything I've heard about it has been almost hands down like 9 out of 10 caliber. Like, it's doing something right. I didn't like the first one, so I have no desire for the second one. No, unless something else big pops up. Chris, we'll go buy the trading card Avatar game, and we'll play that in person.
Heck yeah.
It'll be fantastic. And Yu-Gi-Oh! We'll stream ourselves playing Yu-Gi-Oh! The old way. It'll be great. Everybody wants to see that, right? Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Avatar: The Last Podcasters. Click on any buttons that you're willing to click on. We appreciate all of the button clicks, the thumbs and subs and
I don't appreciate the thumbs down clicks.
But you can't even see how many there are. You have to go do like percentage math behind the scenes based on your... You know what I'm talking about? Like it'll show you like 90% thumbs up or whatever. And then you got to do some quick math based on thumbs ups. Yeah, and come back and talk to us next week. My name's Shawn. That's Chris Ford. It's Avatar: The Last Podcasters, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye, people. To say to yesterday.
It's one of my first cassette tapes, I think. Very early on in my cassettes.